Are we live?
Hello, everyone. This is Adam Meister, the BitcoinMeister, the Disrupt Meister. Welcome to This Week in Bitcoin. Today is January the 8th, 2021. Strong hand, be a unique beast. Fitting in is overrated. One day closer to $1 trillion market cap. This game is not rigged. Offended by selling. Bitcoin is the next Bitcoin. Don't FOMO on alts. We'll mention alts a little bit, though. Compete, don't complain, guys. Offended by selling. Who couldn't be offended by selling right now? I mean, we're getting all-time high all the freaking time here. Pound that like button, everybody. Hello, my elite friends. 24 Bitcoin make you a millionaire at this moment. What a surreal time we are living in. And thus, I brought you some of the best guests in the freaking space, as I do every Friday. Brady Swenson, Denver Bitcoin, and Ken Bozak are in the house. So people out there in the live audience, or if you're watching this tape, what should we talk about? I mean, what's the obvious elephant in the room? Yeah, it's the freaking all-time high all the time. We might get to an all-time high during the This Week in Bitcoin show. It's unbelievable. Vinny Lingham said Bitcoin at $40,000 and no bubble in sight. Traders that got burnt and left in 2018 are just coming back in. They'll be more cautious. It's the wave after that, including institutions, that will create the peak of this new bubble bust cycle. We still have time before it peaks. Bullish. Oh, yeah, Vinny, I agree. It's still early in this game, but it's still freaking strange to have the price go from an all-time high a month ago and then double. All right, so what's going on here, Denver Bitcoin? Tell us about the cycles. Tell us about what's going on.
No, I mean, it's FOMO combined with, I think, awareness of what Bitcoin is, right? I mean, every time the bubble reflates, if you will, the bubble reinflates, it brings some level of credibility. It makes somebody question their initial doubts, and then it makes them go learn more. And when they learn more, you get FOMO. You get, people that want to allocate into this asset class and at least begin to participate in its value and see its value, right? So I think price turns heads, heads learn about Bitcoin, they pump price, which turns more heads. I mean, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
So here's some news for you. Bitcoin is trending on Twitter right now. Wow, a year ago.
Imagine.
We would be happy. Now it's just like, cool. What else are we going to talk about, man? All right, Brady Swenson, before you had mentioned to me before the show about cycles and stuff you wanted to talk about in relation to the price. Bring it up now. What's going on?
Oh, yeah. So, all right. I have been talking about how this cycle is fundamentally different than the two previous cycles we've been through. And that is because we have a much wider spread understanding of Bitcoin as a reserve asset, as a store of value. And large institutions, billionaires, big players in the global economic scene are buying up Bitcoin not because they're trying to speculate on fiat gains. They're buying it up because they want to hold it for the long term. And that makes a massive difference in the available supply of Bitcoin, the liquid supply of Bitcoin on exchanges. So typically, we are at about 3 million, roughly, Bitcoin available liquid on exchanges at any given moment. We are now down to just over 2.5 million Bitcoin, because we have seen a massive trajectory downwards, unprecedented in the history of Bitcoin, of available supply of Bitcoin on liquid Bitcoin on exchanges. These massive players, and of course us Bitcoiners who are doing Bitcoin best practices, are taking their Bitcoin off exchanges to hold it for the long term. So what happens there, right? One, demand goes up as number goes up. But two, the supply is a lot smaller than it used to be. And I think it's going to continue to get a lot smaller. So as liquid supply of Bitcoin goes down, as number goes up and brings demand, what happens? You get supply squeezes and massive green candles as this thing is repriced because there's so much more Bitcoin off the market now. So I call this HODL FOMO because people are FOMOing into hodling. They're not FOMOing in to make fiat gains. They're FOMOing in to hold this thing for the long term. And that's how I think we see massive candles that break all of these models based on previous price action to the upside. And it just destroys them all. And it's going to shock even Bitcoiners. So I think this thing can go a lot higher in the next 12 to 18 months than most of us think.
Now, you said this is going to shock Bitcoiners. Something that would shock me that a past guest brought up, Anders. Do you think they're when usually this kind of madness lasts a year and then there's a tremendous drop? Could that tremendous drop not happen in 2022?
I don't think we'll ever see an 85% pullback again, because these dips are being bought up by big players so quickly. They have their orders set anytime there's a 10, 20% pullback. That's a massive buying opportunity, and then pull those Bitcoins off exchanges and hold for the long term. People understand that this thing is going to eat up monetary premiums of all kinds of assets, let alone the US dollar, the value of currencies around the world, as this new money becomes understood to be, gold, a store of value with a much higher case than, much more usable than any other currency.
Okay, I felt like I interrupted someone.
I'd like to chime in on that.
Yeah, please.
I wanted to mention on there, because that's a great point, Brady. And one thing that I've been paying attention to is, in terms of liquidity, is yes, the amount of Bitcoins on the open market or on exchanges has declined. However, the dollar amount of liquidity across exchanges has increased, right? So the market has matured in terms of institutional players feel there's, it's a more liquid market to enter and exit positions relative to the US dollar. But you're right, in terms of nominal amount of Bitcoin, absolutely, it's becoming less liquid to on ramp and off ramp. So it's an interesting kind of dichotomy that price has appreciated faster than coins have come off exchanges, right? Relatively speaking. So the dollar amount of liquidity has still increased while nominal Bitcoin is significantly less. So it's an interesting, I'm not sure it's unique, but it's certainly an interesting characteristic of the times.
Excellent. Hey, let's move to Kenn here. The man with the master plan here. So we're talking about all these institutions. We've been talking about this for weeks now, and it's great. It's great that we were here before the institutions. I'll tell you that. So is there any retail driving this, Kenn? What's your take?
I agree with both, but I could extrapolate a little bit on more of that too. I think that Bitcoin is highly underpriced right now. A lot of what the institutional investors are doing is purchasing this OTC. That does not reflect on the market whatsoever. So it has a huge delay. So I think that what we're seeing is a very undervalued Bitcoin, even though it's creating more all-time highs. When we're seeing $300 million purchases of Bitcoin, that ain't happening on Coinbase. You know what I mean? That's a backdoor handshake. That's OTC. That doesn't get reflected. And a lot of the times we don't know unless somebody's paying attention to the blockchain. And then if you're looking, how do you know it's not somebody moving coins and selling coins as a whale goes? So I think what we're going to see is, and again, he said FOMO. I don't think FOMO is close to kicked in yet. The people that are buying know what the fuck they're buying and they know how to buy it. FOMO are the people that just throw money into a coin flip ATM and just hope that they win like it's a slot machine at the casino. That's FOMO. FOMO has yet to start. I think true FOMO is where people buy things without even Googling it. And that's going to happen when we see a six-figure Bitcoin, which is inevitable by the end of this year. At the rate we're seeing this rally, and again, the institutional investors' purchases of hundreds of millions isn't yet priced in. It's not there yet. And I think that we're going to see more institutional investors purchasing in that large amount and having that delay that we're seeing. What was it? Morgan Creek got like 350 million, announced it, didn't do shit to the price for months. And I think that we're going to keep seeing more of that. So just keep your eyes out for the FA, forget the TA, and wait for these big companies to throw big money into it and just watch it like a pinball machine. It's just tension being pulled back, and eventually it snaps and it does get reflected onto the market.
All right, we're at 41,500 for people watching this in the future. And it's, we started the year at 30, and the year's only 8 days old. And you guys have been around this for a while now. For me, it's like, it's so surreal. Who could have dreamed that like every day there's like a new a new number that is breached, for 38, 39. It's all happening in the same day. So I guess a final question on the price for the group. I mean, describe what this is like for you guys. But at the same time, I will start with Ken. At the same time, what is there going to be a pull? So many people are saying there's going to be a pullback of some sort. I mean, and I wouldn't be disappointed at all. I mean, if it drops the 30,000, I mean, drops the 30,000. I mean, just December 31st, we were praying it would get to 30,000. So Ken.
Man, when I first got into Bitcoin, it had $10 a day moves. I got in 2015, $400. I wrote an article. I don't know what a Bitcoin is, but I own one. And I seen, every couple days, every day, $10. And then, after a few years, it's $100. And now we're at $1,000 every day. It's going to be surreal when we see $10,000 daily price movements, right? And right now, the average weekly low, I believe, is still at $10,000, which is kind of fucking scary if you really want to think about it. We need to see some kind of a pullback so we can actually iron out what is the next low. We don't have it yet. We just keep getting highs, and that's great. But gravity, fundamentally will kick in here. And I agree. We will see some kind of a pullback, but it won't last long because of all those buy orders people got put in. It's just math. So just get ready for it. You could just put in some buy order somewhere on an exchange, sit back, and if it ever hits, you got a discount. And I think a lot of people may set those up considering we've rallied so far so fast, and numbers have a lot. I mean, people, every time you see a solid number like 3,000, 35,000 straight drop, like those numbers, people put those sell orders in. So just get ready to capitalize on those moments when there is a dip. Be ready for it. Have an exchange set up where you're ready to go with a buy order at a ridiculous price. Set it up for 25 right now, because there's a good chance it may trigger. If not, whatever. But yeah, I think we are due for some kind of a pullback, but I don't think it could be like $5,000, and what would it matter?
Man, this is crazier than 2017. Pound that like button for all the long time viewers who heard me say day after day, when it was down in 2018 at 3,000 or whatever it got down to, one day closer to an all-time high. I was correct, because Bitcoin always gets back to its all-time high, just like the $1 Million Man always gets his way or whatever. All right, Brady. Brady, what's your take on a correction of any sort and just the surreal feelings you may be experiencing?
Oh, man, this is surreal. Definitely feeling some surreal feelings right now. Like, I mean, it's totally different when you see the number, right? We all talk about how this is going to happen. We all look at, various models. We all feel, fundamentally Bitcoin is there, and, the world's just waking up to it. It's not priced in yet. But seeing this number 41,518 on the top of my, screen here on my menu bar is just different. It feels crazy. It feels amazing. Some vindication that this thing is actually happening as we felt that it would, and honestly sooner than I thought it was going to. As far as full pullbacks during this cycle, like I said, I think there's going to be 10-20% pullbacks. There always is. There are speculators still running up the price, and they're going to take profits. They're not all people coming in are not all fundamental long-term holders. I do think that there are a lot more of them coming in now than there ever have been. But of course, there's still going to be speculation on price and people taking advantage of number go up. They're going to run it up, and then they're going to take profits, and then it'll come back down. But I think 10-20%. I think last run we saw some 30-35% pullbacks. I don't know if they're going to get that big this time around, because there's a lot of big money coming in to scoop those things up. Look at the pullbacks we've had already. Like we had a 20% pullback. That thing got bought up within 24 hours. That red candle was completely eaten up, and we had a giant green candle the next day. So people are on the sidelines waiting to buy up those 20% dips.
Brady, I have noticed, we've had like the 1 day bear market or something. Someone made a joke about it. Are we going to hear soon that there is some tremendous entity out there that's going to shock the living what out of us, that is just constantly buying? I feel like something like that is in the cards. That's the next thing. I mean, it's like someone. It's not Michael. I mean, maybe it still is Michael Saylor. I mean, that would be insane. But I would not be shocked that we hear about some other mystery. And I mean, maybe it's a country. It's just like, it seems like there's something out there that just is not. It's just not stopping. It's just not.
South Africa Queen. I can't remember her name. She just did an interview 4 or 5 days ago. She just switched her nation's currency from a fiat to a cryptocurrency.
Who is this? Who is this person?
It's Queen. It's going to bother me now.
Queen Latifah? I mean,
no. It's a queen in South Africa, though. She just did an interview with like mainstream media and press. I seen it on YouTube, like I said, a couple days ago, where she just she's basically getting rid of the fiat standard. She's going to she already created a cryptocurrency for her nation. And basically by doing that, paid off all their debt. And I don't know. It's just nations are getting into it.
Yeah. Well, I'll. This is tip of the iceberg type of stuff. I look forward to official announcements one of these days from one of some country out there. I haven't heard about that, but all right, let's go back to Denver Bitcoin here. What's your surreal take?
I mean, yeah, it's surreal. I'll say, my business partner is my dad, right? And he's a 70-year-old boomer. Okay, so like a hardened, kind of not really even a gold bug, but a boomer, and something that I even feel, but I know we feel as a company, is it's kind of uneasy to win this much, right? It's almost uncomfortable to have price appreciate with such velocity, even if you expected it, even if it was built into your business plan, because it's unexpected still in a way, right? It's kind of euphoric, and so you get this feeling of like, do we do something now that the price has appreciated so much? Do we need to make a decision? And ultimately, I think no. It's just this is an accumulation game. This is a zero-sum game to own the most real estate on the Bitcoin network. The first and native monetary network that's public, right? So I think, yeah, it's surreal, especially mining, right? Because mining rewards, hash rate hasn't caught up, right? We're sitting at 140 exahashes still on the network, and as a miner, I know I'm ecstatic that we don't sell our rewards to cover costs because we get to mine for tomorrow's price. But still, there's this kind of impending feeling that price is going to go crazy. Should we just go out to the market constantly and be pressing our advantage, right? So I don't know. It's really loud. It feels really loud as the price gets up to $40,000. A lot of noise, a little bit of discomfort. Pullbacks, I hope so. I mean, I'm not a trader. I don't chart. And I think Bitcoin's pretty emergent, so it's difficult to chart in these kind of territories. The air's thin up here, as many say, right? And this is literally uncharted territory. So pullback, I hope so. I'll be there buying, but I wouldn't bet on it.
We Brady talked about how we knew this day would come, but it's so weird to actually see the number, and it's just even though we knew it was going to come, it still seems like it's too good to be true sometimes, and. I think it's good to be cautious. It's just good not to get your hopes up too much. And like, if it drops to $30,000, like do something radical, like sell your Bitcoin or something like that. I mean, it's the whole strong hand thing for me. You got to be prepared for all the possible outcomes here. Like, don't be disappointed if it's not $100,000 or whatever. I mean, it's still insane how well things have gone. Since I got you talking about mining, do you have a mining report for us? Any insight you want to give? I mean, there've been reports they're making more money than ever. I mean, it's quite impressive what's been going on.
Well, yeah, I think hash rate's going to increase, as fast as it can, right? I mean, people are playing catch up right now, trying to get infrastructure in place, trying to source power and establish that mining operation. I think it's going to increasingly go to remote and waste power generation. Stranded energy is going to be pretty much, I think, throughout this decade, going to dominate the hash rate by the end of it. And I'll say this: I think there's a massive void. I spoke about this before. I think there's a massive void in the ASIC market and in the hardware side of things, because the marginal return on investment of chip production is a joke when compared to the marginal return on investment of sourcing reliable and cheap energy, economic energy. At this point, just because of kind of the diminishing return of how far they've pushed chip development. So I expect to see, more hardware developers enter the space in the next few years. The price is a really good reason to start building some ASICs because more people are going to want to mine. There's got to be some consumer surplus within that market that can be capitalized on for a profit. So in terms of the mining sector, I think hash rate has a lot of catching up to do. A lot of people are going to be coming on the network. I know 10 exahashes was already committed by a mining company, an announcement, I think, last week. So yeah, I'm really happy right now, but I expect to be mining a lot less Bitcoin at the end of 2021.
Okay. I do like that there's so much opportunity in the space, and I do hope there's more competition in every aspect of mining. People love to fuddle mining and say China this, China that, but when in reality it's not all based there. I mean, there's plenty going on as you pointed out. I also want to say, that we're talking about opportunities. A lot of people, they don't want to buy Bitcoin. They think they could be miners and join all this mining stuff, and it's not that easy. Although, I mean, if you own a big warehouse in China, you can make a lot of money apparently, or wherever you may own a big warehouse. But there is a Grayscale, and I do link to this below. And I just want to point this out because this is the freaking golden age. Okay, in this space, you can get a job. Grayscale, their new CEO, put out news that they are hiring a social media manager in New York City. So that's linked to below. I'm just throwing that out there in the middle of the show because there are a lot of people that say they have no money, they have no job, they have no whatever. There's a lot going on here. You don't have to be technical at all. Freaking social media manager, they're going to pay you almost $100,000 a year or something like that. So just wanted to throw that out there when I thought about mining. That's opportunity there, but this is even an easier opportunity. It's a golden age we're living in. Bitcoin is this crypto. So few people even know about this space. They're so obsessed with politics and news and being down and viruses that they don't see this opportunity. This is like the freaking how the internet, the .com was back in the day. This is better than that. And so people are hiring. All sorts of people need help out there. Kenn, look, I mean, you're in every aspect of this, being in motion, getting all sorts of promos and what. I mean, it's a free for all. It's glorious. All right, just that was a little bit off topic there. Let's get back on to the.
Real quick, let me touch on that. Let me touch on that real quick because I was talking about what I was mentioning earlier was the Marathon is the company that just ordered tens of thousands of S19 Pros from Bitmain, but I think of it also as.
What happened?
To jump into mining. I mean, if that money that they had just sent to Bitmain. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, you went off. Yeah. Start again.
Oh, sorry. So I was going to say the ASICs that Marathon ordered, tens of thousands of these S19 Pros that'll get delivered through 2021. Had they taken that money and just bought Bitcoin back in end of November, early December, when they decided to purchase those, I mean, it looks like they made a poor investment in my part, right? I mean, you're sitting there like that capital was poorly allocated. It could have, the opportunity cost is really great. They could have waited till today and then ordered those miners and been in a much better position. So where to put your dollars is a really a tough sell outside of Bitcoin. It's, when you're competing with Bitcoin, it's tough to spend money anywhere else.
Indeed. I mean, I don't. I freak out. We think about people who bought coffee with Bitcoin. They thought they were paying $5 for a coffee back in the day, and now look. So I mean,
what's Laszlo's Pizza at, like 400 million now?
Yeah. I mean, I've never spent I don't spend my Bitcoin. I mean, come on now. This is. So yeah. There's and all these. I love that people are doing projects. I love that Jack Mallers is doing the Zap thing. But the thing is, some of these businesses, they might generate some revenue and everything, but it might, in the long term, you might just be better buying Bitcoin.
Said that since 2016, bro. Every time I went to a conference, every time I went to one of these and talked to somebody at a booth, I was like, why aren't you just buying Bitcoin? Why'd you spend money on this booth? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? But there have been projects that have actually made the space better by not just buying Bitcoin. And I think that has actually increased the Bitcoin that they bought. So some actually do bring value, which is nice, by kind of sacrificing their money by investing in the space and the ease of on-ramping and things like that. Like, I know Roger Ver gets a lot of shit, but, I think Purse.io is, underrated as one of the best utilities for Bitcoin. It's great to hodl, but it feels good to use it too. When it's up, you don't just sell and cash out, but you're like, oh, what can I do with it? And you can actually spend it and use it. And I think platforms like that and, things like Fold that don't just buy Bitcoin, but actually help make Bitcoin a better place are nice.
Yeah, I want to go back we're talking about regular guys doing regular things, spending. It's so clear that since the summer that this institutional buying, institutional everything has been such a major theme in this space. And Grayscale CEO says crypto interest is rising from pension and endowment funds. So I don't know if anyone has anything to say about that or just has anything to say about Grayscale. Because they're just piling into this thing, and they new CEO now and everything. I wanted that's some news of the day, and I'm happy that I got in before freaking pension funds and endowment funds got in. That's just huge. That's just huge. So I don't know, Brady, you have anything to say about that?
So the latest is that Grayscale holds over 3% of all Bitcoin. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, just that they're. It's like every day there's new news from them, and just the fact that they've stated something there that is very intriguing. That pension. The CEO says crypto interest is rising from pension and endowment funds.
GBTC is still trading at a premium, so it's kind of like a profit of the price. If you check out the GBTC, you can kind of see what that will do to real Bitcoin.
Yeah, and that's another freaky thing. There's still it seems like there's just so many people that want to buy that instead of the real thing.
Well, because they can't, bro. That's why institutional investors are coming in now. They finally built the ramps, the roads that they could put their big ass Mack trucks on. The foundation can support all that money. It was all us before that, and only because we could afford to put ourselves on that bridge we built. That rickety bridge across that trench. Now there's a fucking overpass. They built the I-95 onto Bitcoin. That's why we're seeing institutional money move in, because they can. The only reason they didn't before was because they couldn't. And now they can.
I like that I-95 reference. I-95 World Series, 1983. Baltimore Orioles beat the Philadelphia Phillies. Pound that like now. All right, so let's Brady, I don't know if you got anything to say about GBT.
Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah, Kenn's right. Kenn's totally right. This is the only. First of all, so there was another ETF that was applied for, and this has been happening over and over and over and over again. I can't remember. It was a resubmission from one of the. It was
the Winklevosses.
Yeah, was it Gemini?
I think it was. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. But it was a resubmission from one of these companies that has been trying for years now, and that's going to happen at some point. But right now, GBTC is really the only game in town to get exposure on the market easily through the stock exchange, right? Unless you want to go with MicroStrategy as a de facto ETF. Some people are piling into that too as number goes up. MicroStrategy stock goes up. They're basically a Bitcoin ETF at this point. So when that comes, there's going to be more and more highways on-ramps into Bitcoin. We do have much better exchanges than we did in 2017. They built out. They're much more professional, much more trusted. We've got better custody solutions for big institutions. So all that stuff has been built out. Bear markets are for building, and bull markets are for just hanging on for dear life as much as you can, because that bull's going to buck.
It's Bitwise, not Gemini's. Bitwise.
There you go.
Okay. They wanted they were the ones that were resubmitting, I think. But it doesn't matter. There'll be an ETF one of these days. I remember back in the day, we used to be just, when will the ETF come? Now, who gives a darn? It's like they found the way in this thing. By the way, Powers Comic says we need to get some Meister content on Bitcoin TV. Brady Swenson. Yeah, they could use my stuff if they wanted. Definitely. I got 2,000 freaking shows out there, dude. Use my old stuff. Yeah. Put me on. I'll go anywhere, baby. And just, I wish there's an opportunity for someone. I mentioned this before. Someone could just take my archives and just put it on their channel, rejigger everything. I don't know. There's so many funny clips of me going wild, talking about $1,000 Bitcoin, 500. I mean, it's historical out there, man. It's quite the history of Bitcoin. I like to watch when I was talking about $300 Bitcoin. And anyway, okay, so enough.
I think a Meister hype video needs to happen. You know, we do these hype videos. Like, we need a Meister hype video going through the price action from back in the day all the way up to where we are now, right? That would be fun. I'm gonna talk to Brecky about doing that.
I will tell you, the guys at over at CoinBeast, I'm their TickTock guy. I've been doing TickTock. It's linked to below if you want. That's the freaking hype meister there. They give you 15 seconds, so you just go crazy. I mean, it's pretty mindless over there. But we're reaching out. I've learned about the mindset of altcoiners from being on TikTok. Whoa, it's not a mindset you want to be in.
We hired a TikToker too, Adam.
CoinBeast actually knew about that. They said I should actually talk to you guys about, some joint.
You got to build up a TikTok, Bitcoin TikTok, bro. This is where all the millennials and Zers hang out.
Again, uncharted territory.
They talk about Stellar over there. It's really great. Stellar and Ripple. It's quite entertaining. But all right. Enough. This is fun stuff. You're getting insider information here, people. Pound that like button. I want to stick with Brady real quick because we got to talk about a serious subject here. This OCC thing. You down with OCC? Yeah, you know me. Well, I'm not really down with government agencies. I mean, I don't go storming them or anything.
It's just catchy, man. It's just catchy.
Yeah, you're down with OCC. The federal regulated banks can use stable coins to conduct payments and other activities, the Office of the Comptroller of Currency said on Monday. Okay, that's big stuff. Because there are a lot of people that love to say that, the government's going to make cryptocurrency illegal. Not exactly there. So Brady, elaborate on this. What's going on?
Yeah, so the OCC, and this guy that's heading up the OCC now, he's outgoing, obviously, as administrations change, is Brian Brooks, who used to work in legal at Coinbase. So he knows what's up, and this is sort of his closing salvo for crypto and for Bitcoin. And so the actual note says it doesn't talk about Bitcoin or Ethereum, but it talks about stable coins. And the language that they use, they've decided, I guess government has to invent their own language, their own acronyms for everything. So they have INVNs is what it talks about in the note, Independent Node Verification Networks. All right. So that's a really broad way to phrase what's going on here. And I think Brian Brooks chose that language so that it does include Ethereum and Bitcoin and other cryptos, because Bitcoin is an independent node verification network, right? And I like the fact that he chose independent because it gets at the idea that we are, like, it kind of hints at self-sovereignty, right? And personal responsibility. You're independent from the government agencies, you're independent from a bank, and you are your own bank. So I think that terminology, while like funny because governments, do this all the time, is important. And I think that was chosen very specifically. So it's basically saying that banks can use independent node verification networks as payment rails. And beyond that, it doesn't say just payment rails, but it says that they can use it for technological, rails for whatever banking practices there are, as long as they're following the banking regulations and laws in the United States. So this is a big deal. This is one of those like Trojan horse sort of things, right, for Bitcoin. And we see, like we were talking about Jack Mallers earlier in Strike, we see, Strike is built on Lightning, and it's using Lightning as payment rails to turn fiat into Lightning. So if you're a merchant who wants to accept Lightning, and the trouble is, chicken and egg problem is that you have customers who don't know what the hell Lightning is, most of them. And so you can receive Bitcoin and your customers can pay in fiat. And that's using an example of using Lightning as payment rails. So I think we'll see other examples of that moving forward, not just using stable coins. And there's also stable coins being built on top of Lightning right now using RGB, for instance. So that kind of like the stuff that's been happening a lot on Ethereum and DeFi. This is how things work. Bitcoin moves slower. It's more intentional. And that's for good reason, because it's dealing with $760 billion right now. So these types of financial and payments and functionality and stuff is coming to Bitcoin. And I think we'll see banks using these infrastructures on top of Bitcoin in the future. So I think this is a big deal.
Is it worth noting, isn't the government in the midst of a lawsuit with Tether right now at the same time that this is happening?
New York State is, right?
Or New York State is?
I mean, that's a little different.
Which I find kind of ironic. I just kind of find ironic in terms of, in one sense, they're attacking stable coins. I read some of the documentation, them talking about how Tether had, they claim Tether had the ability to just create currency without it being backed. But then, this is happening on the other side of the token. So kind of an interesting counter FUD, I guess.
True. Yeah, it is New York.
I want to add to all this that was this guy Allaire, Jeremy Allaire, is that his name? He tweeted about this very nicely, and he said this paves the way for the use of leading digital dollar currencies such as USDC as a mainstream payment medium for all forms of payment and settlement, and helps put the U.S. in a leadership position in embracing the power of public blockchains. Well, it's about time the United States government, a couple of weeks ago, we had some Congress people that wanted to have the Stable Act and make us backward toward cryptocurrency. This is the opposite. This is innovation. This is letting people do their thing. So, Denver Bitcoin. Any more? You brought up the New York, the irony. On one end they're suing a freaking. They're suing stable coins, and then on the federal government is saying it's cool. Do you have any commentary on this situation? What it means for Bitcoin and cryptocurrency in general?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure of the impact, but I would actually point toward Brady to see what kind of his take is on that. Considering you work with Swan, there's a lot of regulatory oversight and things. So I don't know how that would conflict. I'd have to look more into it. All
right. Let's before we get back to Brady for a second, Ken, I want you just to address the whole OCC thing. If you have any thoughts on that, what's going? They said this about stable coins.
I mean, I'm a big fan of stable coins, honestly. I think it's probably an easier conversation to be had while on-ramping, small businesses when talking about crypto. I think, if you're going to walk into a pizza shop and try to get them to accept Bitcoin, maybe show them how to accept the stable coin first. It's something that they have more familiarity with, the stability and whatnot. But yeah, I think what we're going to see is, everybody thought, the government was going to compete with Bitcoin, right? Like that's what they all thought, they're going to create something and compete with Bitcoin. Well, turns out, no, they're here to compete with the stable coins. And that's pretty much what I expected the whole time looking at Tether, even in like 2017. I still don't know how they're around today. But honestly, I just see that, the government isn't going to be looking at competing with Bitcoin by creating a better Bitcoin or anything like that. I think that what they are going to do is using their regulations, they're going to just make a better stable coin. All right.
To let them compete, don't complain. I say, let there be a Fed coin. Let Tether exist. Yeah. I don't know why they... Well, I do know why they want to shut it down, but whatever. Let them all out there.
I don't think they'll shut it down. I think they'll seize it, and it'll just take Tether, and they'll say it's ours now, and rebrand.
Well, that's an interesting take, right there. I will. I don't like the destruction of anything out there. There's some people that believe, that altcoins are the devil. If you don't like altcoins, ignore them.
So how do you feel about the SEC subpoenaing and all that shit with Ripple and XRP?
Let's go around. I mean, that was last week's news and everything. I'm not a fan of Ripple at all, but I don't want the government shutting it down. I mean, sure, Ripple is not a real cryptocurrency, okay? But I mean, compete. Let them compete. If people want to buy that nonsense, they can buy that nonsense. Let him run his. It's a company that owns a cryptocurrency. Okay, we get it. Whatever. I don't believe in the whole security stuff. Just let them burn themselves out. I mean, if people are silly. They have this unit bias, and that's like their gimmick over there. And they're people that are like, it's the cryptocurrency for banks. Okay, if you worship banks, that's awesome. I mean, you can do what you want to do. That's what I think. So no, I don't like the government interfering in any of this. I wish you didn't need the government's permission for all this for most things. And but the institutions that are coming into this, and this ties it into everything, I guess. They love to hear about government approval. I mean, part of the reason they've piled into Bitcoin lately is because it is obvious now that Bitcoin cannot be shut down or over-regulated by the government of the United States. And why they're dropping out of Ripple is because they've come to the conclusion that the government can destroy Ripple. They should have already known that. It just shows you how ignorant some of these bigger buyers of Ripple were in the first place. Okay, I went on a tangent there. Ken, what's your? Are you as free market as me on that?
Yeah, man, I am. I could care less what Ripple's doing or who wants it or likes it or whatever. What I care about though is that this low hanging fruit was kind of their first target, and I don't want the government to start off with a win on the war with a battle like this. I think, what happened with like Arthur Haynes and BitMEX and how everybody was a little silent on that shit. I think that we need to be more vocal when they start to come for our neighbors before they start to come for our friends and us. So just shout out to Arthur. Hope everything's all right. Like, that sucks. But with what's happening with Ripple, even I said it, dude, buy the fucking lawsuit, sell the verdict. It's just going to be an EOS again. Maybe they learned their lesson last time with the EOS by only taking like 1% of their billions of dollars they raised. But I think what we're going to see is probably $300, maybe $500 million in fine come from Ripple. And that's it. Slap on the wrist to them. All they're going to do is get some, XRP, sell it to their, cult members, and then take that fiat that they got and pay off their fine. So it's basically they're getting a buyout from their investors, which is pretty ironic considering it's a banker coin. So I'm with you, man. I think Ripple's going to win this. I think XRP is going to be fine. I could care less either way, but I do want to see that we start off with the win in this community in general, whether Ripple XRP is a real cryptocurrency or just a digital currency. They are in the same space. So I just think, we have to take care of our own, even if we don't agree with their tribe. We're just.
I'll say this: these centralized entities, whether they be Arthur Hayes or Ripple, they act as a shield for Bitcoin. I mean, the government's got to say they're doing something to protect all the screaming Karens. So they hit on the easy targets, the low hanging fruit, the clearly centralized entities. Yep. So,
and that's what I've been saying for 5 years, man, is like, yeah, Ripple is fucked at the gate because, they have a CEO. They have a founder. They have people that can be seized and black bagged. And that's what's happening. I mean, who would have saw this coming?
Well, that's the thing. Some of these people didn't see it coming. They don't understand what centralized.
Dude, I got kicked out of fucking Consensus in 2018 for standing out front of the Ripple door because they had like a fucking 500 square foot room and educating people on the fact that that you could sue them, right, when things go wrong, right? But you can't do Satoshi Nakamoto, and they kicked me out.
All right. Love it. Love Ken Bozek. You guys, do you have anything to say about Ripple? I mean, we weren't going to talk about Ripple, but it got tied in.
I mean, Ken is the king of conference trolling. There's no doubt about that. It's been very entertaining to watch him over the years.
All right. Let's talk. Let's get back on track here. I want Denver Bitcoin. Tell us about this Jack Mallers Zap thing. It was big news. Brady alluded to it before. I'll link to it below. I haven't updated all the links yet, people. But if you're watching this tape, you can see it. I'm sure. But yeah, what it was? Everyone was praising him, and I'm glad the dude is in motion, and I'm glad they're using the Lightning Network. I'm no expert on the Lightning Network. I don't really, I'm just letting the people do what they're gonna do. What's your take there, Denver?
Well, I love what Jack Mallers is doing. He kind of tunes out the noise and just builds, right? And then he comes and talks about what he built. And Bitcoiners are kind of building this financial future. Each product is, typically an idea that came relatively, not that long ago, and they got on the horn to go build. So Zap is incredible. I don't know if you guys watched that video, his thread. The product is absolutely insane. The fact that he can pay an employee every 5 seconds or every minute, that kind of rolling wage concept globally changes a lot. I mean, I think that impact is going to be long lasting. It's bullish. I mean, the user interface, everything about it makes Bitcoin more agreeable to the consumer, easier to use, and more friendly. So it's easier to be open-minded to this product because these guys are building such great things around it. So, kudos to him. Great respect. It's an amazing product.
All right. Do any of the other panel members have anything to say about what we just Zap and everything that's going on over there?
Lightning's going to make Visa obsolete. Finally, I think that's what we're seeing is those stepping stones be put down. Where I think we're going to see a lot of Bitcoin, taken out of Bitcoinness, put into the Litecoin network, and that's where it will reside. And I think we're going to see a lot of businesses actually realize that they could have their own Lightning networks and how that benefits them as a business rather than using the Visa network and lose out as a business. We're going to go to a shopping mall and see that they have a shopping mall Lightning network. And for using that Lightning network while shopping at individual stores at that mall, X, Y, and Z, they all earn something from that as well. And that can be reflected as a discount on the price of the things that you buy, goods and services, regardless. But what's happening is we're starting to see the tools that we've been needing for, not just independent unbanking yourself, but, businesses unbanking themselves. And this is a great stepping stone in that direction, rather than just saying, accept Bitcoin and HODL. Well, businesses need to do business-esque shit, man. And I think the Lightning Network is really going to show them the benefits of being their own bank as a business.
We were just talking about centralized points of failure. My only worry about, Jack Bittmaler's doing something like this. I mean, I hope it's totally cool with the officials in DC, because he's a target, and I don't want to encourage.
We never know, man. I mean, a lot of this is literally just like still playing Wild Wild West. And like every day laws are written for things. Like, why do we have, jaywalking as a fine? Well, eventually it became, so things are going to keep popping up where it's like, well, what you did yesterday may be illegal today, but it was legal when you did it yesterday. And depending on that grandfather-esque getting in or out of that, I think that we're going to see a lot of laws be written in 2021 in the US especially.
Okay, I want to point out a mistake I made earlier today. We were talking about who refiled for the ETF. I got confused. Bitwise has been in the news a lot with all sorts of things that they do. Okay, all sorts of financializations, and good for them. Van Eck just refiled.
Van Eck
refiled.
The reason I thought Gemini was because in 2018, and then I think again in 2020 they tried. They keep going for it.
Hey, and I just don't. They should, again, we're talking about government permission. Just let them do this crazy ETF stuff. If people want to invest in Bitcoin that way, let them do it. I think it's ridiculous. I love that I wasn't waiting for a darn ETF.
They love that there's a monopoly on it right now, bro. They love that there's a monopoly on it.
Well, GBTC loves that the SEC is holding this up.
Yeah, you don't think that they're lobbying to keep things the way they are for as long as humanly possible?
He might want his own ETF though too. Probably something like that. There's all sorts of competing interests, and that's the problem with not thinking you have a capitalist society when it's not. It's really a fascist society. Fascist economics. The government picks winners and losers and really alters the markets completely. But hey,
it's crony capitalism. Capitalism.
Crony capital, whatever you want to call it. It's what we live in, and it gives capitalism a bad name and makes AOC popular. And I guess we'll have some time to talk about the politics of the day in a second, because it does deal with this. But Brady, any Zap thoughts before we move on here?
Yeah. Well, like Ken was alluding to, like we need to be able to use Bitcoin, right? Or like people are going to want to demand Bitcoin for their goods and services. And that chicken and egg problem is being solved by Strike. So it's awesome to see that anybody can start paying in Bitcoin. And we're going to see more and more people merchants start demanding Bitcoin. or at least making that option available as numbers going up, because they just want to get that directly into their coffers, right? And a lot of businesses are starting to go onto a Bitcoin standard. So, like Tahini's in Canada, those guys love to just take Bitcoin because they're going to buy it anyway. So it might as well just have it transacted directly into their coffers. As far as the international thing goes, I think it's great. They're using Bittrex as their kind of their back end, their rails, because Bittrex is already international. So they're going to be kind of like a UI UX layer on top of Bittrex. So that's great. They are also like the get paid in Bitcoin thing is going through Prime Trust. Russ opened up a bank account at Prime Trust, and the NFL is paying him through that bank account, and Prime Trust converts it. So again, it's like Strike there's no Lightning Network involved on that. Strike is sort of the Jack's kind of like making it happen, setting people up with Prime Trust. So I think that's cool too. We're doing that at Swan as well. People can get paid in Bitcoin. You can set up a bank account at Prime Trust and convert whatever you want. You can just do it right now. Convert.
You get direct deposit from your job, direct deposit to Swan, and have that converted to Bitcoin automatically as a direct deposit.
Yeah. I mean, we auto withdraw straight from your bank account. So you get direct deposit into your bank account, and we just auto withdraw daily. Well, we would auto withdraw weekly, no matter what. So we'll spread those buys over days if you want, but we just auto withdraw once a week. And so it's the same thing. It's the same thing.
I was going to show something like similar, but yeah, just use Swan.
All right. I want to say another, you brought up Tahini's there. It was right after Sailor made his announcement in August or September, whenever it was the summer. And then Tahini's, it's a small eatery or whatever. They got a chain of restaurants up there in Canada. And then they said it. I'm like, these dudes are smart. They're jumping on this bandwagon. They'll get their name in the news. It'll be so good for them. My Lord, was it good for them? I mean, Bitcoin's gone up like 4 times in price. If they really changed all their those Canadian loonies into Bitcoin, those dudes are doing great. I mean, wow. Good.
Yeah,
good. It wasn't just a gimmick, man. It is partially a gimmick, but I mean, dude.
I was going to say it's partially a gimmick.
If they talk the talk, but then if they really walk the walk, my Lord. They must be.
No, you're right.
Also,
if they walk the walk, I was going to say the walk the walk November would be huge for them, right? Yeah. The revenue of November would be 6x by now. 5x. Yeah. It's like
it's amazing. I want to point out another mistake people make. I keep calling it Zap. Zap is the company. Strike is the freaking product. That's why I got you guys here. Okay, real quick here. Are altcoins inextricably linked to Bitcoin? Okay, we all know that. I mean, $1 trillion market cap for all of cryptocurrency now. Unbelievable, okay? And Bitcoin is like over $500 billion. Ethereum Google searches have hit an all-time high, which makes us think that it's going to probably hit its fiat all-time high real soon. So, I mean, Ken, you know about altcoins and such. What is your take? Is Ethereum going to hit an all-time high soon? Are altcoins doomed, or because Bitcoin dominance has increased? Or are the impulsive people out there going to take their paper Bitcoin profits and start the gambling machine?
I don't think Bitcoin dominance has anything to do anymore with the altcoin market. Honestly, it doesn't matter. It's new money coming in left and right from every direction. Bitcoin isn't going up because people are selling their shitcoins. That's not what's happening. People are just buying Bitcoin and they're buying shitcoins. And that will continue to happen, especially with people like Elon Musk making tweets like, I'm the CEO of Doge. I don't think that's going to stop. I think more people in that similar position of influence will probably find a bag that they want to pump and do similar fucking tactics with. So I think we're going to see tribal coins, these altcoins, whatever you want to call them, shitcoins. They're going to keep moving. It is what it is. But what we're really going to see in 2021, though, is a difference between 2018. Utility will speak volumes. Nobody is buying vaporware. You couldn't sell vaporware at a vapor sales depot. You can't do it anymore. It's all utility, and the gimmick utility doesn't matter if it's niche or whatever. Ethereum, though, with a lot of 2.0 and everything and all their hype, I see nothing but ups for Ethereum. Especially with the Ethereum Foundation, Enterprise Alliance, and everything like that, with all their circles that they're in, they're going to say, hey, get one Bitcoin and get some Ethereum too. So we're just going to keep seeing the market grow as a whole right now. I don't think anybody's going to have to worry about market cap or liquidity battles for the next year or two, because it's all going to be great as long as it's not a complete piece of shit. You know, if it has utility, if it works, then yeah, it's going to do well. Altcoins being correlated to Bitcoin, though, not anymore.
All right. So I want to say that, again, the Google searches for Ethereum are up. It implies that there's a lot of retail interest, and it could be the retail that helps pump Ethereum more than I mean, we haven't really heard about any institution. Like Michael Saylor isn't buying it.
Yeah, wait for the Ethereum ETF to get approved, and then that moment you're talking about will occur. But right now, we're seeing what Ethereum is seeing, what Bitcoin saw 2-3 years ago. That's all.
Okay, it's a good.
Before the futures got in and fucking ruined everything for us.
Good take. Good take there. Surfer Jim says, please say hi to all the strong-handed holders out there who didn't sell their Bitcoin. We were right. Oh, you better believe we were right. Pound that like button. Hello and happy New Year to Adam, Brady, Denver, and Ken. Well, thank you, Surfer Jim. Surfer's been on this show a few times. He is an awesome dude.
He's a great guy.
Surfing
cool
and spreading the Bitcoin word. All right, dudes. Altcoins, Ethereum, Google, and again, Bitcoin Google searches have not reached their all-time high, but Ethereum's has.
That's why I said the people that are buying Bitcoin know what they're buying. It's the people that don't yet. Yeah. Exactly, bro.
Yeah, very good take, Ken. I like it. Other panel members, anything to say about this altcoins and Ethereum? I know Brady, you're no altcoiner, but you gotta pay attention to the market. I mean, Ethereum is going to be hyped so much this year with the 2.0 coming up. I mean, it's in our faces, so we got to address it.
Yeah. I mean, there's no doubt Ethereum is around to stay. It's clearly cemented itself as the number 2 crypto. So if people come in the door for Bitcoin, they're going to start searching, well, what the heck is this Ethereum thing? That's exactly what happened to me in 2017. And you know, there's a lot of pitches out there, a lot of memes out there about why Ethereum is better than Bitcoin, et cetera. And it'll, you know, I don't think it's a direct competitor to Bitcoin in terms of money, although there's lots of, you know, Ethereans out there that will say that Ethereum is money. A lot of people will just say it's a token used to drive computing power for other applications that rest on top of it. I don't know. I don't think Ethereum's going to compete on that front at all. I think Ethereum will be limited to, you know, being a layer where it's, you know, experiments happen and we'll, you know, see what sticks. I think it's more of like a Silicon Valley sort of project, and Bitcoin is not that. It's something completely different. But yeah, I mean, people are going to be buying altcoins. I think the majority of the money, the vast majority of the money this time, since it's not a retail driven market this time, although the retail will come, I think the vast majority of the money will come from the big players. They're going to buy Bitcoin. Maybe they'll buy some Ethereum. I don't think they're going to play beyond that. So when you start seeing the altcoins pump and stuff, that's going to be retail or individual speculators and investors. I think we do see a big separation between Bitcoin and everything else. I think Ethereum will still kind of hang out as well and really separate itself from the rest of the altcoins too.
Again, I like how you guys are reading my mind. You brought up it's a Silicon Valley coin. You better believe it is. They love those type of people, Vitalik types, and there's definitely a lot of hype coming from that side of the country. And Ken called altcoins, he called them tribal coins. And I got to say, it is an interesting era that we live in. For the first time ever, tribes are being built around currencies. Yep. You know, we have tribes built around religions, around countries. People get very tribalistic about those type of things, as we've seen recently. But we're living in this crazy era now because of a cryptocurrency that you could build a tribe around a coin, and some of them really know how to hype it up. Then some of them disappear. It's very interesting. Again, I'm just an observer. I'm talking about what I see out there. Bitcoin is the next Bitcoin. That's all you. If I say, you know, there's some people out there that are so silly. They think if I say the word Ethereum, like I'm telling people to sell it. If you're that naive, I mean, I don't know. Maybe you're just a troublemaker. So I have no idea. Anyway, it's sad though. You know, you do say a name, and people they hope and pray that just because you said the name that you like their coin. It's so tribalistic. You know, no, dude, I just point out the reality of the world. I'm saying what's out there. I'm telling you the news. That's that. You know, we cannot ignore it. We can't they're not all scams. They're people trying to do things out there, but I make it very clear here, and I think everybody hears Bitcoin is the next Bitcoin. One Bitcoin equals one Bitcoin, and just stick with the best. Mess with the best, die like the rest. All right, Denver, we're going to get cut off here, but don't worry, we will continue. It's going to be a little weird, but your altcoin, Ethereum take, anything?
I mean, I don't really have a take. You know, I see nothing competing with Bitcoin, maybe gold, but I don't think Ethereum is a competitor of Bitcoin.
Gold's been going down lately. Gold is old.
Yeah, maybe
gold ain't competing with Bitcoin at all.
Well, I mean, I think a lot of people are reallocating anything that they're holding in gold to Bitcoin, right? It's kind of like this, you know, in the minds of investors, this potentially superior store of value. But I think that also there's so many investors that are they can't change their diversification mind. Right, the idea of diversification it's almost like a rule of law to them, and so they're gonna want to try to hedge and grab the crypto market. I think it's more representative of, you know, a trillion or $600 billion animal that has a $300 billion leech or parasite attached to it, in my opinion. But I don't think investors will see it that way. I think they'll see it as worthwhile diversification. So, I mean, I just personally have no interest in.
All right. Diversification for the sake of diversification is what you were talking about there. Basically, there is that strange mentality out there. I don't want to get too controversial here, but I've said this before. You brought up gold. I would rather own Ethereum than own gold. I would. Why not? I can trade that Ethereum into Bitcoin in 2 seconds. All right. And it's the future. Gold is old, baby.
What Bitcoin proved was gold was truly the speculation asset.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what happened. Everybody thought gold wasn't, you know, Bitcoin's all speculate. No, Bitcoin proved that's all your gold was.
Well, beyond that, I mean, into the diversification aspect, you know, part of it has to do with Bitcoin's price appreciation, right? I mean, even somebody that may have made a bet on Bitcoin, you know, if they see their investment double, they'll think, you know, it's smart to preserve that wealth by diversifying into these other coins that are maybe successful now, with their you know, profits, if you will, from that investment, their return. So I don't know if they're going to go anywhere.
Too many things that you can do with your Bitcoin now than sell it for a shitcoin to do something with it. I mean, you could use like Celsius Network or 100 other different things to just like earn money just for having money. I don't think that's going to be the case, man. I think people are actually going to look into DeFi indexing and more things along those lines of how I have Bitcoin. Well, now how do I send my Bitcoin to work so I can stay home and play video games? And then my Bitcoin comes home from work with income that I take out of its pocket and then I send it back to work the next day. That's what people are going to do with their Bitcoin as they see it grow. I don't think that they're going to sell Bitcoin because they are going to worry about the possibility of being able to buy it back. Well, and if you look at the chart, that is a fucking fact of scariness of, you know, buying it back.
Well, people are so tempted to do something with their Bitcoin. I, of course, love to do nothing with my Bitcoin. But Ken is right. That is why these businesses that are going to give you interest on your Bitcoin exist. People, and that's traditional finance markets. That's what people are used to, getting interest on their bank accounts and whatnot. It will be interesting when one of them totally blows up and steals from everyone.
Shut up, bro. Don't put that out into the universe. We don't need that.
Well, it's going to happen. I mean,
that's going to happen.
Again, I prefer just, you know, holding your own Bitcoin. You can get airdrops and forks. Those are your crypto dividends that you turn into more Bitcoin. I don't have to trust some third party giving me Bitcoin interest, but plenty of people will. I mean, those businesses are already well funded they're going to do that thing. To eat, you know, anyone can, but there will be destruction. No, someone's going to steal. I mean, that's just the way it is with third parties and interest. And
but I mean, I think about, you know, the amount of money that's in the kind of the retail investor market, and the majority of it is held by boomers. And boomers think like this, right? They think like, I mean, this is diversification is, like I said, it's almost like physical law. And then
be more like a millennial.
Well, exactly, right? I mean, obviously, I think that wealth will then, you know, that generational wealth will flow down to, you know, Gen X, Gen Z, and everybody. But I think for the moment, when retail boomer investors get involved, it could get weird out there. I think it could get really weird.
Yeah, bring on the weirdness, man. We could never. It has been quite a freaking wild ride. We predicted so many of these things would happen. One day you'd be able to get interest. There'd be people loaning out Bitcoin, and it all comes to fruition. It's just you gotta defer gratification, live your freaking lives. Don't do anything impulsive and just sell your Bitcoin because you're sad or whatever. It's been amazing. Now. I want to. There was now I forgot what I was going to do.
Real quick, I gotta say to Denver's point. Yeah, like we see at Swan a bunch of boomers coming in. I was shocked, and it's still continuing. In fact, the percentage of boomers on our Swan clients it's still increasing as we're going along here, and that's obviously they have a bunch of money, so it makes sense. Boomers are coming.
They're coming, and that's what I mean. Because I'm partnered with my dad, so. He's like this early boomer amongst the boomers he knows, where like now they're, reaching out and talking to him about it because obviously price brings that attention. So I feel like that all at once is soon to happen with that generation, right?
Yeah.
Well, they are welcome here. Anyone is welcome here. This is an uncensorable space. You can't say, oh, no, boomers aren't allowed. Let them come in, baby. Let them all use their money on this. Everyone is welcome. You can have your enemies here. That's the beautiful thing about Bitcoin. Now, I do want to bring up current events real quick. You guys brought up gold. I've been told gold is doing terrible today, apparently. And you would expect from all the hype we've heard about gold for all the years, because the people who love gold have always talked about, the end of the world, you'll need your gold. And if the government falls, you'll need your gold. It'll do great. Well, yesterday we had a situation in Washington, D.C. It looked pretty nasty what was going on there. You would think gold would do well after what happened in D.C. yesterday, and it didn't. And Bitcoin has done great during all this time of uncertainty. So I'm going to let the panel have a little open time here. We're basically at the end of the show, but just what they think about the current events of today. Of the day, they are interesting to see that scene in the Capitol. That was a little strange, and what it means for Bitcoin, and the Georgia election. What that means that we're going to have that the Democrats are going to control all aspects of the Senate and the House of Representatives and the presidency. A lot of people are down. They think it's the end of the world. For me, Bitcoin 2020 was a great year for me. A great year. Bitcoin was great. I always look at the positive side. And sure, I don't agree with all these socialistic policies that are clearly coming in and the censorship that might be coming in, the vilifying of certain people. But Bitcoin is the protection from all that. Bitcoin, I think it's helping more people wake up to Bitcoin. I really think this is some of this stuff, this craziness has been going on, and the $2,000 checks that are going to be on the way, and the whatever it's called, the UBI, it's going to take, some people are going to be addicted to the fiat forever. Okay, that sucks for them. But for the people that are into Bitcoin, this is going to be a golden freaking age, dudes. And what the government does, if you've got enough Bitcoin, it doesn't matter what the freaking government does. So, okay, I rambled on about that. You guys, Brady, we'll start with you with current events and what it means for Bitcoin and your take on the current events.
Oh, man. This country is divided. That's very clear. In 2016, all the Democrats, liberals thought there was a rigged election, and 2020, it's the opposite. We have basically everyone in the country now, except for the middle, who try to stay out of this noise, thinks that we've had a rigged election in the last two presidential elections. That kind of division and divisiveness leads to, what we saw at the Capitol building, which was pretty messed up, and an indication of just how divided we are. And that was, also at the urging of the President of the United States. He wasn't urging the violence and the, breaking of the windows, etc., but he did urge a march on the Capitol. And who knows? I mean, it was, I think, probably pretty obvious where that was going to end up going. So it was a mess. I think Brandon Quittem talks about this cycle of being a fourth turning, and it's in Neil Howe's book called The Fourth Turning, and how American history in particular and just history in general has gone through these cycles about every 20 years, and they follow certain patterns or certain characteristics of each cycle. The fourth turning, which we've entered roughly 7 or 8 years ago is a cycle where we lose faith in institutions. There's a massive distrust of the institutions that we've built. And there is a revolution of some kind. Often it's a physical war. Sometimes it's, massive protests. And so that's really interesting. Check out Brandon Quittam's stuff on the fourth turning. I think it's spot on for where we are. And, out of that fourth turning, we build new institutions, right? And I think what we're building now are distributed institutions that we're not just losing faith in the institutions that we've built, but we're losing faith in centralized institutions. And we have open source technology and distributed solutions to these problems, to these big problems that we have. The problem of money, like we need to solve that. We need money. It's the foundation of civilization. So we're building those things now, and I see a future of bright for Bitcoin and bright for individuals coming together, finding a problem that they want to work together on, and solving it in a distributed fashion. So I'm very optimistic for the future, but I think we're going to go through some more troubling times over the next 5 years or so.
Yeah, I would encourage people to look for their economic interest. Buy Bitcoin. Don't worry. Don't get caught up in the emotion of the politics. I think a lot of the people that got caught up in the emotion, a way to fight back against something that you feel is bad out there. If you think everything's corrupt, get into the security truth machine, Bitcoin. It is not corrupt. It is the one thing out there that you can prove is not corrupt. It's not going to be inflatable. It's not a big lie. Let's go to Kenn on current events.
If you want to protest, buy Bitcoin.
Yep.
It's our generation's Boston Tea Party. Just throw your fiat into the harbor, get rid of it. Stop even acknowledging its existence. I don't think we're going to have a problem with money moving into the future. I know that you said that, but with the ability for everybody to make money, their own shitcoin, I think money will be obsolete within a decade or two. As we know it, will be obsolete. And that's what I think Bitcoin's true superpower is making money obsolete. Money isn't currency. Currency isn't money.
All right. Denver.
I just wanted to say one more thing, though, is along the lines of like the gold stuff is, I don't think gold's going to have its day again for a long time in the sense of, I don't remember exactly when or exactly where, but about a month ago or so, they just found like a huge deposit of gold that has yet to been adjusted to the supply of all gold. So gold keeps getting inflated more and more and more. I mean, they keep saying there's a limited amount, but we don't really know what that supply cap is on gold. Every fucking year we keep finding giant deposits of it, and it keeps inflating their shit. So I think what we're going to see, if you want to see gold do anything, it's going to be when Elon Musk starts importing it from space and the cost of production is implemented to the value of gold at that point. But till then, just buy Bitcoin.
All right. Denver, you've got the last word on current events.
Yeah, I think Brady gave a great summary there of kind of that, that fourth turning. And I'll say there's two aspects to that I'd like to talk about. And one is there's, we're in this information age. We're in the early years of the information age. And now we're kind of in this misinformation age where nobody trusts anything. No source is trusted hardly. Everyone's been seen to be a liar in one way, shape, or form. So, the demand for objectivity for legitimate, transparent truth is, I would say, at an all-time high, right? Truth of information, and then, carry that over to the money in your pocket. I think Bitcoin brings up or gets people to go seek out information about their money, to either challenge Bitcoin's proposition or to support it. But either way, it helps to educate people about what they're dealing with. And I think what they'll find is a lot of obfuscation and misinformation. So they'll, this transparent idea of a public blockchain is, I believe, only growing in demand. Also, at the same time, human civilization has kind of gotten smaller because transportation has become, more accessible and faster. So, concepts like flag theory and jurisdictional arbitrage, Katie the Russian talks about that a lot. It's, I think the world is kind of mobilizing, and it speaks toward individuals being empowered and being able to more or less manage themselves no matter where they are. If they can move their money and their physical self through space pretty freely, well, I think the individual is going to be ultimately empowered. So I don't think of like one world government. I think of one world money, and that, kind of dictates this free market, this global free market that can ensue. So yeah, fourth turning is a great way to put it. I think we're just right at that frontier where we're looking over the edge and we're about to spill.
It's sad. You mentioned the individual. We've got some unique beasts here. I wish we had more people who were striving for individualism. It does seem like the collectivist streak is coming out in so many people these days. It's very unfortunate. But hey, man, you be a unique beast, everyone. That's one of the sayings over here. Okay, let's tie this baby up. Wait, someone else has something else to say about this? All right. Let's go to each guest and see their closing remarks, what they want to promote, what they've been up to, any news that was left out, any final thoughts. And Ken, we'll start with you.
Why are you picking on me, man? Dude, I mean, my week has been ridiculous. I'll start off with somebody from HEX sent me 1 million HEX out of nowhere, just straight up. It was no strings attached. I could have dumped it that day. I just figured I'll stake it. Fuck it. I don't care. YOLO. I really, you know what I mean? So I put 1 million HEX up for 15 years just to be like 15 years. Yeah, but here's my if it doesn't work out, I can sue Richard Hart. So it's still a good investment either way.
Oh, pound that like button.
You know what I mean? Either way, I can win on this. If it doesn't come out and HEX is a scam, I'm just going to get part in that class action lawsuit. And I know that dude got money. So
if HEX is the scam.
But yeah, that's what happened to me this week. I literally posted my Ethereum address and I got a bunch of shitcoins, random ones, and then I got 1 million HEX, which is worth $13,000.
I was about to say that. Who did that?
I don't know.
Someone's trying to bribe you, man. Someone's trying to.
Dude, you understand? You just staked a third of a Bitcoin, right? I mean, that's. Yeah, that's all I can think about.
Just take a look at my shitcoin bags, bro. I love shitcoins. I mean, look, dude. I got Dash. I got Litecoin. I got my first Bitcoin address I ever opened. I got Decred. I got Monero.
I feel it.
But see, that's the tribalism. That's why do you care if I have an apple pie on my arm if you love fucking pumpkin pie? If that bothers you.
Oh, no, I don't care about the tattoo. I'm talking about the third of a Bitcoin stake for 15 years.
No, that's not
what
Bitcoin.
keeps hurting me.
I got Bitcoin.
It could have been Bitcoin, though. It was $13,000.
So could my computer. So could this camera. So could my microphone, bro.
So could your chairs, bro.
I ate yesterday. I've been in Bitcoin since 2015. I've been living off of it since 2016. Completely off the grid. Dude, you know how hard it is for me to get anything in life because I don't have an address? I don't have a bank account. Like, it's not.
That doesn't change the fact that a third of a Bitcoin stake for 15 years on HEX is just a bad investment decision.
If you would have bought HEX a year ago instead of Bitcoin, you'd be up a lot more than Bitcoin's up. Bitcoin's up 400%. HEX is up 2,000.
Yeah, all right, but okay.
Well, to make numbers the big deal. That's the big deal.
Now you see, I see what their investment is paying off, giving you $13,000. You've just given a lot of free publicity there.
Exactly. That was a perfect execution by whoever did it.
Yeah, well, I am curious to know.
I didn't have to bring it up. I only brought it up because I'm on Adam Meister's show and he's the Bitcoin Meister. And I just knew it would trigger everybody on air, so I just wanted to say it.
It's amazing. Someone sent you $13,000.
No Bitcoiner has ever sent me, dude. I posted that too. I was like, not one Bitcoin whale has ever fucking hooked me up in the 5 years I've been advocating Bitcoin as much as some complete stranger sent me a shitcoin.
I want to know who this person. It might have been Richard. He's very strategic. I mean, I'll give him that.
I don't know, man. That dude had me blocked until like November. I called him for like the first 9-10 months it was out.
I just got to say, that is the golden age we're living in. I mean, before there was cryptocurrency, would someone just leave $13,000 at your door? No one would ever do something like that. I mean, that is one of the craziest stories I've ever heard on this darn show.
That's what I'm saying. It's ridiculous. So like, forget it that it's HEX. I could care less. Somebody sent me $13,000, and I just think that's cool. Whether it's their tribal coin or whether it's your tribal coin, Bitcoin, doesn't matter what I got money. Doesn't fucking matter what kind of money it is.
They are as tribalistic as you get over there. I will tell you that.
Yeah, see, I disagree. I think it does matter what money it is.
Well,
I don't. Dude, see, Elon Musk isn't the CEO of Bitcoin. He's the CEO. It does not matter.
If someone sends you money if someone sends you HEX and then you turn it into Bitcoin, it didn't matter if it was HEX. I mean,
Right.
yeah.
But it mattered that you
Every
turned it
day
into
I'm getting
Bitcoin.
Every day, though, I'm getting Bitcoin. If I could do this with Bitcoin, trust me, I promise you I would. I can't use Celsius Network because I can't pass KYC because I'm off the fucking grid. I'm too Bitcoin to use Bitcoin as fucking Bitcoin.
All right.
Stop judging me that I'm too Bitcoin and you got a bank account and you can take all these privileges that you can. No.
All right. I do think the best part about altcoins is the ease. You could turn them into
That's
Bitcoin.
what I'm saying. You're right. So I stake them.
No, they're good.
And every fucking day I get Bitcoin. Every day.
They're good. They're good for buying Bitcoin, and you staked it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. Yeah, the stake. He gambled. He's a gambler.
Dude, I took an hour out of my day. I have to have some fun. This was it.
All right. Okay. Ken, you had very interesting closing remarks from Ken Bozak. He is a unique beast, to say the least. All right, let's go to Brady. You've been silent on this. I don't know if you want to chime in on that, but tell us what's going on at Swan, and tell us just the news and what you're doing.
I don't need to say anything about HEX. You guys, I'm sure, know what I feel about HEX. So I'm not going to talk about that. Go to swanbitcoin.com, start stacking some sats. Like I told you guys earlier, it's as easy as can be. You can sign up within 3 minutes, start buying Bitcoin. It's basically the fastest route to start buying Bitcoin. Like 80% of our customers get KYC approved like almost instantly, so you can start stacking very quickly. We have instant buys now. You just connect your bank account and convert your paycheck to Bitcoin. We also have we're helping a lot of corporate treasuries out, so we can support that. We take wires if you want to make big buys over $10,000. I think yesterday we got a couple of wires that were like over $800,000 to buy Bitcoin. So we've got some big players coming to use Swan, trust in Swan, which is awesome to see. And if you want to give away some Bitcoin education, go to swanbitcoin.com/free book, and you'll get a copy of Inventing Bitcoin by Jan Pritzker, our co-founder, CTO, and you can give it away to whoever you want. So that book's been spreading all over the world. Awesome of Jan to give it away for free. So check that out.
All right, Denver, you got the final word.
I mean, I'd say stack sats, stay humble, right? I mean, that's where we're at right now. We're in the bull market. Excitement is always going to be at an all-time high. Price will be making new all-time highs. Stay calm and keep pushing the education. Try to learn something about what we're talking about every day, and that way, the mystification of Bitcoin can go away, and people don't have to be so intimidated by this technology. They can understand why it empowers the individual and makes the world a better place. So I'd say stay humble and just keep your eyes forward.
All right. Yeah. Demystification is important. Making this easier. Education. There are so many people that still come to me to say it was too expensive, so I bought the Ethereum or I bought the Litecoin. It's gonna keep on happening. You said excitement is at an all-time high. Excitement's always at an all-time high here at the BitcoinMeister Show, baby. Pound that freaking like button. I can turn it on and off just like that. It's all natural. Be healthy. Be a freaking unique beast. I'm Adam Meister, the BitcoinMeister, the Disrupt Meister. Thank you, panel members. We went over an hour. It was freaking fun as anything. Shabbat shalom, everybody. This show is every freaking Friday. And you get other shows. This is my backup channel because YouTube will be back on the main channel soon. And maybe you're watching this on the main channel, but I'll post it on the main channel eventually once they let me. Oh, YouTube, you're such a mistress, aren't you? All right. Thank you, everyone, again. And check out all these guys. Their Twitters are below. See you guys soon. Thank you very much.
Cheers. Thanks, BitcoinMeister.
All right. Ending it. Hang on. I ended that side of it.